Okay, so far what we have done is we learned how to insert a basic table with the number of rows and number of columns. And I hope you're okay with adding multiple rows and columns in future. Okay. We haven't gone to any intermediate level with the tables yet. But let me show you some interesting attributes which we can add to the table and how we can replace the actual information. Like right now, it just shows cell 1, cell 2. Okay, we don't use it for that. In future, we actually replace that information with the actual web page contents. Means I can replace the information of cell 2 with a JPEG file. I can replace cell 5 with a simple paragraph. Okay, so we actually replace this data with our web page data, and that's how we build our web page. But then to use it more efficiently, because right now it has all these default sizes. Okay, to see some interesting properties of table, I'm going back to my HTML codes. That's where we are. Earlier we only saw a table having a border equals 2. Okay, but now after the border, I'm going to give a space, and before just my bracket of opening tag, we can add some interesting properties. To start with, let me give width. So we can add a width as an attribute name equal to double quotes, and in terms of pixel numbers, we can define how large your table width should be. Okay, we don't write pixel unit, we just write numbers. Normally your monitor screens are about, based on your computer's monitor resolution, they would be about 1000 pixels, I would say. Okay, and if you see your browser, it has some bars on the right, it has some bars on the left, and leave some space to the both sides. You can probably use about 800 to 900 percentage area of your browser. So within these limits, if you want to show your website, you can give your table a width accordingly based on how much you want to scale your page. Okay, if you think the entire width of your browser, I'm saying 1000, but what if you don't know? Then the other way to understand these widths and the heights is we can use a unit called percentage. Okay, as much space available in your body of the web browser, assume that whole web space is 100%, and you want to show your website 80% based on as much as available, then just give your table width based on 80%. Or if you know the pixel values, just give in terms of pixels. Yes. Because if you keep it full, your website will look stretched across the whole browser. So generally, when we show websites, we generally show them uh, halfway through. So if I just wanted to show it, I would like to show it occupies only this area by leaving equal space on the right and left. Most of the websites we design this because I don't want my website to stretch all the way across the whole browser and then causes confusion. It will look too flat. So ideally, we leave spaces. Yeah, my equal bars on the left and right side. So to those kind of values, I'm going back to my codes, and let's add a width. For example, I'm doing 800 pixels. Okay, most of the monitors these days, they have a minimum resolution 1000 pixels. So your browsers will obviously have 1000 pixels width. Assuming that, I'm keeping my table 800. Okay, so if I'll do 800 at just a width, and let's quickly save it, check my page. It's gone beyond that. I think I zoomed my page earlier. Yeah, that's the 100% screen of my computer. Do you see the moment I've done 800, the table size extended, and automatically it equally distributes your TD. Okay, but if you want you can give your TD also the customized widths by using same attribute. Okay, well, you can do that as well. Yeah, let's try 80%. Yeah, that's 80%. It slightly shrink. So I think 800 is exactly. That's why I told you. Most probably, most of the screens shows you 1000 pixels. That's why 880% will more or less say. In exam, if Sitting Girls gives you question that design your page, make sure it occupies 95% of your browser. So if they give you this kind of instructions, then you know what to do. Okay? Then just put 95% or 90%. Save it. It spans across 95% of your browser. Okay, depends. Switching back to 80%, save it. By default, every single HTML element or the tag or the content, whenever you add in your body, everything will be left aligned. Everyone, leave your computers for a while, please. Everything you add in a body will be automatically on the left. Now to shift it, we use tables or divs. Now table has inbuilt property called align, which images and other properties, they don't have it. So we are fortunate for tables. Now if I want to show my website in the center of the browser with the 80% width, then we have the width. After width, give extra property called align equals center. Make sure spellings, don't write TRE, okay, otherwise it will not show. So center, go back, refresh, and there you go. Your web page goes in the center. There are many properties we can keep adding one by one. So we added border, we have added width, all properties and attributes I'm spacing with one space bar, okay, just to separate them from each other. Okay, but they're all still lying within the opening tag of your table. Okay, that is important. They should be all in the opening pair of your table tag, and then separate them one by one. Space should be there ideally between each attribute. Okay. There's BG color you can add to your web page as well. So if I'll go to table tag after center, I can write BG color equal to quotations. I can make it yellow. Okay, save it. The table goes yellow. Yeah, we can do body background as well. We can go back to the body. Yes, we go to body. BG color equals quotations green. And you get yeah, tables are transparent. They don't have their own color. So any color you have for the body, that will see through. Okay, but you can change it by giving BG colors to each, to the tables, to the bodies, the way you like. Okay, so we have added additional properties to make your page looks more attractive. Don't worry about typing right now, please, everyone. I'm demonstrating, I'm recording, so you will have everything you need to practice later on. Wilson, please don't type. Otherwise, you'll ask questions again. So first watch, and then I'll give you time. So far, width, align, and BG color. There's other property you should know for the table tag. It's called cell padding and cell spacing. Okay, is there in the handouts as well. Now, what these properties do is, if you can check my page, you see by default it gives you some space as in terms of a padding and the spacing. Okay, so what these properties do is each cell has its own area. Do you see that? And each space has a common outline. So if I'll use some different marker, yeah, assuming this is your table, or this is the outline or the border of your table. And inside these tables, we generally have our cells like this. Okay. If you don't assign any values, they will have their default attached to each other. But if you give your values, you can specify how much space you should have between each cell, okay, and how much space you can add inside the cell's content. Right now, your cell text is attached to your cell's border. So you can move these contents inside by adding some padding inside your individual cells. So when you add a padding for a cell, your contents will move away from the borders inside. And if you add a spacing between the cells, each cell will start separating from each other. Now these two properties we don't apply for the cell, means we don't apply them for TD or TR. We apply it to the whole table. So when we apply it to the table, it applies it to all the cells in proportions, in equal values. Okay, to add it, all we do is we go to HTML. After BG color, I'm continuing to add the last properties. It reads cell padding equal to quotations. This is also in terms of numbers. Okay, so it starts from 1 and as much as you want, but give it in proportion. So if I'll just try 5, and then I'll try cell spacing equals also 5. Okay, now with these values, all these values and properties are there in the handout, so you will have them later on. Save it, check it. There you go. Now you see the difference in the table. Each cell is moved apart from each other by 5 pixels. And the information inside the cell, that's been moved away inside its own cell as well because of the 5 value. You should know how, yeah, with the different values. Are we clear with this? And then how do they use it for web designing is they turn off the value of the border. So when they switch off the border, you don't see the table at all. Wilson and Powell, last time I'm going to say this, please. Right. It disturbs others and disturbs me as well. Let me finish and then we can come. Right, if I go back, this is the preview we see in your browser, and if I'll go back to the codes, I'm switching off the border value to 0. Let's save it, check the page. Now do you see the border anywhere? Can you even tell me that this is a table? That's how the websites are done. Add a table, add much width, bold, cell space, paddings, rows and columns, and just turn off your border value to 0. It looks like a nice page layouted with divs or with whatever you want. Your clients won't come to know it, or your site visitors will not come to know it as well, unless someone knows HTML. So whenever you want your whole page to go in the center and the information to go in the center, we use these techniques. Okay? Yes, you want to ask something? It will expand as per the image size. Now the way I have moved the whole table and aligned it to the center, I've moved the data inside the cell to the center as well. So if I want to insert image, or if I'll go back to my codes, I'm replacing my cell 2 with my london.com. Okay, let's save it and see how it looks. This is in the first row, in the second column. So visually, in your browser, it should get displayed here, right? Let's refresh. You see? It shows the contents like that. Now, if I want this to be as a main heading of my website, I can go back to my codes. I can add H1 before My London. And I can end H1 after com. I'm trying to use multiple ways of using HTML. If I'll save it, check it. Okay, same tags, we have learned these tags, but this time I'm adding it into the TD. The way we have used align center for table, we can use align center for the whole TD. So if I'll use that for table data space, align equals center, save it, refresh it, magic. So your site will start taking shape slowly. If I don't want to show other cell as a data, just take them off. I can just delete cell 1, I can delete cell 3, cell 5, cell 6. They are there in the structure, but there's no information, so browser will not show you anything. Yeah, I can replace cell 4 with the copyright information. That's cell 4, right? Right, whatever you want. Okay, in the TD, save it. Slowly, you can start building up your page. Yeah, because it is shifting your column widths uneven. But what is your column whole table width? How much? 80%. So we can divide that by 3. Or we can give 20%, 20%, and 40% for the center one. Yeah, we can do that. So I can go back to the codes. That's my TD. And here, I'm going to give this width attribute to the TDs. First TD, let's make it 20%. Last TD, 20%. And the center TD, make it 40%. So that's 40, 60, 80. Let's go back. Everything is in your control now. Widths, margins, spacings, and the data. Okay, I've got the rows. If I want to add another row, I can add one more row. So if I'll go back to the codes, this is your first TR, right? This is your second TR. In between this, I want to show one more row. So I'm just going to copy the first row as it is, paste it here in between. Okay, so it will have exactly same values as the first row, width and all. But this time, instead of showing H1 as a content, I will replace that with this whole image. Copy this image, paste it in between TD, and if I'll save it, there you go. All I've done is copied the same row as it is from the top, pasted it. They have 2020, 2020, and the center is 40%. But the data I'm showing this time is image. For the first row, the data we show was H1. In the last row, we shown the data as simple copyright. Yeah. And the story continues. So if I just want to do it again, I will copy this whole row again, which is second row. Copy it, paste it, I don't want to show image in the third row, so I'm gonna delete the whole image tag. And here, instead of image or heading, I will show simple paragraph. Okay, I just need a simple paragraph. So I'm just gonna go to my website somewhere if I'll find some random text to show you. I'll copy this file for you in your folder as well, so you will have it in my day 2 and 64. Just got some notepad text file just to have some basic text for us. I can open this file, right? Just take some random text for us, copy this text, and in my HTML page, this is our paragraph tag. So far clear? In between the paragraph tag, just Control V for paste. Save it, check my page, copy the paragraph, and it continues. Copy the rows, change the data. Copy rows, change the data. In final exam, you'll have exact something similar, but you will have like 6-7 images, 6-7 paragraphs, 1 or 2 headings. That's it. This is second week, isn't it? 3 weeks time. It's end of November. Let me just stop the recording so you'll have the whole lesson recorded right now.